Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And, Gadabout Gaddis. I bet Ron Wong's heard of him. Have you heard of him? Was he not? He was the man, right, in the 50s. I mean,
hey, absolutely. He was one of my idols.
Yeah, well, all of us was. And to talk about Al's Goldfish, because he put them on the market, we do have some of Al's Goldfish lures coming, Ron, that you're going to be able to get your hands on and try.
Yeah, I'd really like to check them out.
Yeah, because they're sending us some. This is third Saturday, which means Frank Barton's in here with a nice Barton Power Sports shirt on. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, everybody.
And good morning, Ron, as he's there and everything.
Ron just is not around much for these days.
Ron he's frequent traveler. That's what he gets, and everything.
Well, good morning, Larry. Good morning, Frank. You're trying to get caught up on some work now. Real work.
Well, I know Ron made it right out of the show last week, which was a great show, and got up to Durant, Mississippi. Durant. I'm thinking of Durant, Mississippi.
Well, I wish it was.
Yeah, I wish it was. Durant, Oklahoma, right on the Texas-Oklahoma line for the BASSfest, and got in there, and it was a little bit different, Ron, than everybody thought because of all the water and everything. So kind of walk us through what happened and how our man Greg Hackney was able to win that thing.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right, Larry. They had a lot of rain a month prior to the tournament there on Lake Texoma. And up to 2 weeks before the tournament, they received 5 inches of rain. It brought the lake up 9 feet above flood stage or normal pool stage for Lake Texoma. Lake Texoma is normally 89,000 acres.
Whew. Okay.
It swelled this lake till another third of its size, so you can imagine how big that is. There were only 2 boat ramps on the whole lake that was open at all that you could barely use. And what happened was the main feeder river into Lake Texoma is the Red River.
Yes, it is.
And they don't call the Red River for nothing.
Yeah.
When I crossed it going to Durant on Highway 82, and I looked down on the river, it looked kind of like creamy tomato soup.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Visibility 0 down. And so got to the lake, was able to look at the water and everything else. And, of course, by the time the tournament started, all of the rain had stopped, and they started pulling water from Lake Texoma. Now, what's interesting about that is they were dropping the lake about a half a foot a day.
A day.
So
okay. So
these all of the BASS anglers that were there were fishing shallow. Typically, this time of the year on Lake Texoma would be much like a lot of our lakes around here. We would be fishing deep, fishing ledges, fishing creek channels and stuff like that, offshore fishing. There was 0 offshore fishing going on by any of the anglers. They were all fishing very, very shallow, fishing bushes, green bushes mostly, and flooded willow trees. I saw guys that were fishing, you're not going to believe this, picnic tables.
Picnic tables?
And and outhouses and stuff like that. It was pretty amazing.
There's no outhouses in Durant, Oklahoma. Surely there are.
Well, public outhouses.
Okay, public. Yeah, public. Yeah, and again, we're talking to Ron Wong right now about BASSfest, where he was covering it for LR Outdoors. We've already posted a bunch of pictures. Just go to the homepage, lroutdoors.com, look up there for Wong's Report, And and you get all of Ron's work, plus you get to see all these photographs from the 3 days, and you could actually see the transition where we go from the first to the back, and we see the Greg Hackney, remember the Strike King Pro staff, comes in. And, the Angler of the Year guy is coming in, and, he didn't have anything to lose, but he won everything. I mean.
Yes, he did. And hopefully we're going to have him on the show here over the next month or so to talk about.
Yeah, we want to talk to him.
His performance and the Angler of the Year race that he is leading right now with two events left for BASS. I will tell you, it was interesting. I was on the water one day and was able to stay with Greg about an hour and a half.
Uh-huh.
And I also spent about an hour and a half with Casey Ashley, who was the day one leader.
Yeah.
Greg Hackney was the day two leader and eventually won the tournament. But these guys were pitching and flipping green bushes in anywhere from a foot of water down to 5 feet of water.
Wow.
Fishing them very, very slow. It was pretty amazing to watch. I mean, it's 90-something degrees, humid out there.
Yeah.
And who would have ever thought you would be fishing so shallow? But because of the visibility of the water, that's what they had to do.
Well, what
and
about...
Of course,
no, go ahead. Huh?
With BASSfest, not only did they have the elite tournament going on, but they also had the college wild card tournament going on, and Northwestern State won that tournament.
Yes.
Did quite a job. Bethel University from outside of McKenzie, Tennessee here placed two teams into the championship, which is going to happen, I believe, in Kentucky there at the end of July.
Yeah, it is. And I know that that our good friend Jackie Smith, that Northwestern State University is where Jackie played. So he likes to talk about that. We got Ron Wong on now. Ron, let's talk a little bit. Switch gears now. We're going to have some more from you next week when you're in the studio with us. But a little bit about the local fishing. We got a lot of pop-up rain showers and things like that. Before we let you go, tell us about the local fishing. We're in the middle of June here now, Father's Day weekend. So tell us about what this is.
There's some good fishing, especially if you're a crappie fisherman. Whether you're going to be right now, they're catching a bunch of crappie at Sardis and Enid and Grenada Lake.
All right,
and they're catching them trolling.
Okay,
just trolling Strike King Series 3 or 3XD crankbaits in a sexy shad color.
Yeah. All right.
Doing real, real well. Now, the bass, because the water temperatures have reached the high 80s, low 90s surface temperature, the bass are going into their summer haunts.
I don't blame
which are going to be offshore ledges.
I wished I could.
Offshore ledges, drop-offs, creek channel ledges, and those kind of things. Your best bet is to use a Carolina rig, whether you're going to be on Kentucky Lake, Pickwick, Sardis, Enid, any of these lakes. A deep diving crankbait will work well. The fishing overall is good. Brim fishing is absolutely on fire in a lot of places.
Reelfoot, because we're going to talk to Mike Hayes at the end of the show. He says it's red hot at Reelfoot. We're going to have Steve McAdams coming on from Kentucky Lake. I know it, folks, this is the time that you can catch some big brim. Is that right, Ron? I mean, you can.
Oh, absolutely, and they're so much fun.
Yes, they are.
Pound for pound, there's not a better fight.
All right, buddy, we got to go. Thank you, Ron. Go to lroutdoors.com, and that way you can get to see what Ron looks like and also see where he's been everywhere. Thank you, Ron.
We'll see you next week.
All right,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Thank you. Bye. Ron Wong. Wow, he's everywhere. Frank Barton is everywhere. All right, now I know I'm going to give something on the next segment. We're going to talk with Frank a lot more, but give us a tease now at the Barton Power Sports. Now, There has been news about we insinuated the Indian motorcycle.
Yeah, we're going to be opening up in this fall.
Yes.
Out on Mount Moriah.
Right here, close to the station.
5715 Mount Moriah. And we'll be selling Indian motorcycles, Victory motorcycles, and then the full gamut of Polaris off-road equipment, as well as slingshots. So,
wow, I'm excited.
All my Memphis customers that have been talking about slingshots, we're coming to Memphis with slingshots.
Coming to Memphis with the slingshot, but not only that, right off Mount Moriah. That's about how far off the interstate then?
You're about 2 minutes from the
2 minutes from the interstate, and about 5 minutes
and about 1 minute from Ridgeway.
Yeah,
exit off of 385. So.
And just really close to the station here. So I'm excited because I looked at the pictures of those Indian motorcycles. They're pretty cool.
Indian is actually the oldest American motorcycle company.
How old is it, you think?
It's 3 years older than Harley.
It's 3 years older than another company.
And then,
You've already said it now.
Then another company.
Then another company. It's too late now. You've already said it, I mean, because I looked it up, and they're cool cycles. And will we be able to talk about something else later in the show? We've got another secret coming out, Frank. He just loaded with news here today as we get him the third Saturday of each month. Let's take a break. Going to come back and try to hook up with Steve McAdams up at Kentucky Lake and see what's going up there besides the heat. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
You can find out